Hello and welcome. What if King Charles's health isn't the only crisis quietly unfolding within the royal family? As rumors swirl about growing tensions and possible betrayals, the peace everyone hopes for may be slipping further out of reach. Stay tuned, because by the time you learn the final twist, the royal family could be facing its biggest crisis yet. At 75 years old, King Charles has reportedly been undergoing cancer treatment since February. Despite his condition, the monarch is now more determined than ever to get closer to his grandchildren. For years, he's only been able to interact with Archie and Lilibet through video calls, a situation he finds deeply unsatisfactory. According to reports, Charles sent a heartfelt gift and card for Lilibet's birthday. But now he wants to go further. He wants to be present, in person, in their lives. Sources claim that Charles is in an introspective mood, especially after his recent trip to Normandy for the D-Day commemorations. The king feels a growing desire to devote more time to his family, particularly to the grandchildren he barely knows. This shift in focus is, in part, driven by his wife Camilla, who at 76 years old, has encouraged him to deepen his connections with all of his grandchildren. Charles already enjoys a close relationship with Prince William's 3 children, George, Charlotte, and Louis, and he reportedly wants the same for Harry's kids. But can King Charles truly make up for lost time? After Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's exit from royal duties in 2020, the family moved to California, creating a significant physical and emotional distance. Relations have been further strained by a series of high-profile interviews, including Harry's explosive memoir Spare, their Netflix documentary, and the infamous Oprah interview. These events have left the relationship between Harry and the royal family deeply fractured. Yet, Charles reportedly refuses to give up on building a relationship with Archie and Lilibet. The king is absolutely committed to being present in all of his grandchildren's lives, and insiders shared. He values family above everything and would never be content with just seeing his grandchildren through the odd videos. He wants to know them and be involved while they're still young. Harry, for his part, has shown some willingness to reconnect. Upon hearing the news of his father's illness, Harry flew over 5,000 miles to see him. However, their time together was brief, just 30 minutes, according to reports. Despite this, Harry expressed gratitude for the opportunity to spend any time with his father at all. But was this fleeting reunion enough to heal their fractured relationship? King Charles, it seems, is haunted by memories of his own childhood, where duty often overshadowed family life. As a result, he has a profound sadness over the lack of connection with Archie and Lilibet. Royal biographer Ingrid Seward has said that Charles's cancer diagnosis has only intensified his desire to bond with his grandchildren, knowing that time may not be on his side. He does not want a FaceTime relationship with his son's children, Seward explained. He wants to be involved in their lives while they are still young enough to learn from his wisdom. While Charles is reportedly eager to strengthen these family bonds, questions remain. Is this newfound resolve enough to overcome the deep divisions caused by years of tension? Or is this just another missed opportunity in the long and complicated relationship between Harry and the royal family? But as King Charles seeks to mend his relationship with Harry and Meghan, Prince Harry's actions are raising serious questions about his priorities. Behind the scenes, there's growing frustration, and it might be driving an even bigger wedge between father and son. At a Clinton Global Initiative event, Prince Harry and Meghan introduced their latest project, Parents Network, aimed at combating cyberbullying and offering support to parents who have tragically lost their children to online harassment. It's a noble cause, but Harry's speech once again centered around his personal fears for Archie and Lilibet. He described his horror at the thought of them growing up in a world dominated by toxic social media. But this isn't the first time Harry has voiced such dramatic concerns, and as we've seen in the past, his go-to strategy seems to involve pulling on the heartstrings by invoking his children's names. The very next day, at New York Climate Week, Harry took the stage to discuss another cause close to his heart, climate change. Speaking on behalf of his eco-tourism initiative, Travelist, Harry warned that his children's future is at risk due to the environmental damage caused by international travel. Citing alarming statistics, he painted a grim picture of the world Archie and Lilibet will inherit, from rising temperatures to devastating natural disasters. And once again, he declared that he's terrified for his children. But is this constant focus on fear justified, or is it simply becoming repetitive? Harry's statements about the dangers of climate change were filled with dramatic warnings, but there's a glaring issue with his message, his own lifestyle. Despite preaching about the need to reduce carbon emissions, Prince Harry himself has been spotted traveling by private jet on numerous occasions. How does that align with his calls for sustainable tourism? For someone so concerned about the planet's future, his personal actions seem to contradict the very ideals he's advocating for. And it's not just critics who've noticed this hypocrisy. Many members of the public are growing tired of being lectured by someone who doesn't practice. During his Climate Week speech, Harry emphasized that the tourism industry needs to prioritize sustainability over profits. He spoke about how Travelist and its partners, big names like Booking.com, Expedia, and Google, are working to reduce the environmental impact of travel. Yet, it's hard to ignore the fact that this initiative is also a business venture, one with a collective market value of nearly $3 trillion. So while Harry might position himself as a champion of the environment, there's no denying that there are significant financial interests tied to his advocacy. Is this really about saving the planet, or is it about promoting a brand? But beyond the environmental concerns and financial ventures, there's another lingering question. What's really going on with Archie and Lilibet? Despite Harry's repeated claims of deep concern for their well-being, the public knows surprisingly little about his children, raised in extreme privacy in the secluded world of Montecito. Some have speculated that Archie and Lilibet are being shielded from the world like flowers in the attic while Harry talks about his fears for their future. Are they even allowed to have a present that involves normal childhood experiences, or are they growing up isolated from the world? Harry has been vocal about wanting to protect his children from the same media scrutiny that he experienced growing up. But there's a fine line between protection and over-sheltering. Are Archie and Lilibet truly being raised with the freedoms Harry advocates for, or are they living in a bubble, far removed from reality? It's easy for Harry to talk about his fears for their future on a global stage, but perhaps the real issue lies closer to home, ensuring his children have a healthy and balanced upbringing. Another point of frustration for many is Harry's tendency to paint a picture of doom and gloom in almost every public appearance. Whether it's about cyberbullying or climate change, the overarching theme seems to be fear. Fear for the future, fear for his children, fear for the world. But constant fear-mongering has a way of becoming tiresome, and many are beginning to wonder if Harry's endless worries are more about staying relevant in the public eye than anything else. After all, fear sells, and invoking the vulnerability of his children is an easy way to attract attention. What's more, Harry's focus on his children and their future often seems to overshadow his actual actions. If he's truly so terrified for their well-being, wouldn't it make sense for him to lead by example? For someone so concerned about the environment, cutting down on private jet usage would be a good start. And for someone so worried about the dangers of social media, perhaps spending more time with his children away from the spotlight would help. The irony in Harry's approach is hard to ignore, and the public is starting to see through it. In the end, Prince Harry's concerns for Archie and Lilibet may be real, but his constant public declarations of fear are beginning to wear thin. While his causes, cyberbullying, climate change, are undeniably important, the way he presents them feels more like a performance than a genuine plea for change. And as he continues to invoke his children's names at every turn, the question remains, is this about them, or is it about him? But as Harry's personal conflicts continue to unfold, could this latest visit to the UK bring him and his father closer, or will it push them further apart? The storm is far from over.